Chosen ones, hear this not as a casual message, but as a divine confirmation. If these words have found you in this very moment, it is no accident. It is a sacred appointment. For years, you have walked through storms no one else could see, deserts that seemed endless, and battles that raged within you while the world remained silent. You carried pain no one knew, shed tears that no one witnessed, and endured a loneliness that would have crushed another soul. Yet you did not surrender. What the world dismissed as futility, heaven recorded as a demonstration of power that altered the very patterns of humanity. There were nights when you believed no one saw you, nights when you thought your struggle vanished into the void. But the truth is staggering. The universe paused to take notice. And more than that, God himself, the creator of heaven and earth, leaned closer to behold your silent strength. Your endurance has not been ignored. It has been celebrated in realms unseen. This was not applause from human hands, but the divine gaze fixed upon your soul, witnessing a purity of perseverance that others would have abandoned. Every tear, every cry, every hidden moment of resilience has been transformed into eternal proof that within you exists something that surpasses human strength. And today, in this message, you will come to understand why your endurance has so deeply moved the heavens, what divine reward is now secretly being prepared for you, and how your years of silent endurance are about to burst forth into a public display of blessing. Stay with me until the end, because what is coming will not simply comfort you. It will ignite a fire that reshapes the way you see yourself and the way you walk through life. This is not an ordinary message. It is a heavenly decree, a cosmic announcement, spoken directly into the lives of those who endured without recognition. You may have been overlooked by the world, but you have never been forgotten by God. And before we move further, I invite you to take a prophetic step. Like this message, subscribe if you have not already, and comment the number 99 below. For 99 is not a mere number. It represents the lost being found, the hidden being restored, and what was invisible finally becoming visible before heaven and earth. When you write it, it becomes more than a comment. It becomes a spiritual signal that your endurance is being acknowledged in this very moment. Beloved soul, the storms you faced were not ordinary storms. They were engineered to destroy you completely. These winds came from hidden dimensions, crafted from betrayal, abandonment, and injustice, with one single purpose: to break your spirit, silence your voice, and bury your destiny. Every wound was calculated, every silence around you was intentional, every loss aimed at uprooting the divine seed that God himself had planted in your life. And yet look at you. You are still standing, still breathing, still walking forward. Even when everything around you shouted failure, your spirit whispered endurance. Make no mistake, what you endured was not ordinary. Anyone else in your place might have collapsed and never risen again. Many would have surrendered permanently to their pain. Others would have sought shortcuts into darkness, just to escape the unbearable weight. But not you. You rose when everything told you to fall. You walked when your strength was gone. You believed when every reason told you to stop believing. And here is the hidden truth. Those storms were never random. They were divine examinations, tests orchestrated to separate what was real from what was superficial. The enemy wagered everything on your collapse. He bet that you would bend, that you would break, that you would renounce the light within you. But every time you resisted, even in weakness, heaven recorded it as victory. Every moment you chose to endure, even when no one was watching, the eternal book of heaven declared, "Here stands a soul of truth. Here stands a warrior who bleeds but does not retreat. Here stands a chosen one, whose integrity cannot be washed away by storms. Your silent tears were not invisible. Every private cry of your heart was seen. Every lonely night of endurance was witnessed by eternity. And every decision to keep standing became evidence written in heaven's scrolls that you are more than ordinary. You are extraordinary. For greatness is not revealed when life is easy. Greatness is revealed when life conspires against you, and you choose faith anyway. And you, beloved chosen one, are the living proof. Remember the times when the ground seemed to collapse beneath you. Remember the doors slammed shut, the betrayals that came from those you trusted most, the unbearable silence of God when you longed for His voice. Those were your refining fires. Those storms were not designed to destroy you, but to reveal you. And you proved what you were made of. You are no longer hidden. Your resistance has become a cry that shook the heavens, and now, the time of recognition, restoration, and divine manifestation is upon you. From the outside, your resilience was never understood. Those around you observed you without knowing how to categorize what they saw. Some thought you were stubborn, refusing to accept reality. Others were convinced you were trapped in some kind of emotional masochism, as if you enjoyed suffering. Some even considered you naive, incapable of understanding life's harshness. But they didn't know what was truly happening. Behind every decision you made, behind every step you took, lay a power immeasurable by human logic. Your family members questioned you. Why do you persist? Why don't you give up? What's the point of this? Your friends, those who had once promised to support you, began to disappear, convinced that your persistence was a waste of time. Your enemies watched closely, waiting for the crack in your armor, waiting for the day you would finally say, "I can't take it anymore." What they never understood was that you weren't fighting to impress them. Your strength didn't come from ego or a need for attention. It was something much deeper, an invisible current flowing from a higher dimension that sustained your soul even when your body trembled. While they thought you were wasting your time, God saw integrity. While they believed you were in denial, heaven recorded your fidelity to an eternal purpose. Where human knowledge saw weakness, the Creator saw unwavering courage. Only He could tell the difference between human stubbornness and divine resilience. And in you, the chosen one, the latter was revealed. The hidden reward. Think about this. When people stopped believing in you, when your decision seemed absurd to everyone, what sustained you? It wasn't applause, because you got none. It wasn't validation, because it was denied. It wasn't the promise of earthly rewards, because they were absent. It was something higher, a conviction embedded in your mind that said, "Don't give up, because what you have inside is worth more than what you lose outside." The world couldn't understand that your silence was a prayer, your perseverance was a connection to the eternal, and your apparent naivete was a spiritual vision that saw beyond what others could ever reach. So when they stumbled over your steps, heaven celebrated your path. When they called you lost, God wrote that you were found. When they mocked your resilience, He smiled at the pure strength welling up from the depths of your being. This confusion wasn't accidental. It was part of the plan. God allowed them to misunderstand you, because if they had grasped the magnitude of what you carried within you, they would have tried to manipulate, steal, and derail you. While the world saw stubbornness, God saw an incorruptible seed. While they scratched their heads, wondering why you hadn't fallen, He leaned down from His throne and said, "This is my child, resisting with the strength I myself have placed within them. Here is the mystery that should keep you awake tonight. What the world misinterpreted as weakness was actually the greatest evidence of your connection to the divine. And this misunderstanding wasn't just part of your process, it marked your eternal difference. Enduring untainted. What truly shook the heavens was not only your ability to remain standing, but also your purity of heart. Many can endure, but few do so without letting bitterness, hatred, or the desire for revenge seep in. You faced betrayals that would have turned anyone into a traitor. You endured cruelties that would have hardened others beyond recognition. You passed through dark nights that would have shattered the faith of thousands. Yet something radically different happened within you. You endured untainted. This inner purity disarmed all human logic and caused the Creator himself to stop and gaze upon your life in awe. Look around you. The world is full of people who, after being hurt, decide to hurt again. Those who, after being betrayed, live in distrust. But you were the exception. Pain didn't turn you into an executioner. Loneliness didn't petrify you. Darkness didn't settle within you. You continued to walk with compassion in your eyes, even when yours were filled with tears. You continued to believe in love, despite 1,000 reasons not to. This silent decision not to let the storm overwhelm your essence was more powerful than any visible victory. In a world where wounds often leave irreversible scars, your heart remained like an altar intact amidst the ruins. This integrity was a prophetic act, a testimony that resonated in unseen dimensions. God watched every moment. He saw you cry but never become a victim. He saw you suffer injustice, but never soil your hands with it. He saw you endure rejection, but never deny your purpose. Every time you chose to forgive when you had the right to hate, every time you decided to love when it was easier to distrust, you created an echo in the heavens. This echo was recorded not as ordinary resistance, but as an act of transcendental purity. Purity does not mean naivete. You have seen and faced evil, but you chose not to let it seep into you. And that choice, repeated day after day, night after night, has forged a character that even heaven itself could not ignore. The unveiling. And now, understand this final mystery. This purity you have kept secret is about to be revealed. God was not just impressed. He has decided to reward it in a way that will shatter all expectations. Everything you have endured in secret, every night of silence, every hidden tear, every battle you seem to wage without witnesses, is about to enter the most spectacular phase of your history. For what has been sown in secret will not remain hidden forever. God has decided that the time has come for the invisible to become visible, for the private to become public, for what seemed forgotten to manifest itself as an undeniable reward. Heaven has prepared interventions inexplicable by human logic. Movements so swift and supernatural that even your enemies will have to admit that this is not your work, but the hand of the Almighty. The time of silent resistance has done its work. You did not resist forever in the shadows. You resisted until the seed was ripe. And now that seed, watered with tears and fertilized by pain, is ready to sprout with a force no one can deny. The harvest will be proportional to all you have endured in solitude. Every tear shed in the darkness will transform into manifestations of light. Every moment of solitude will transform into divine companionship. Every blow received will result in open doors you never imagined. God is preparing a validation that will publicly reveal what he has already secretly acknowledged. And when it comes, it won't be something you can hide. It will be so blatant, so obvious, so supernatural, that even those who mocked your insistence will be stunned into silence. Sudden changes will occur. Opportunities that seemed unattainable will open overnight. Key people will enter your life with resources and relationships that will accelerate what seemed frozen for years. Circumstances that seemed unshakable will shift with a single divine breath. And most shockingly, this will happen before the very eyes of those who have doubted you. For God's reward is not only a blessing, but also a testimony that resistance in the shadows was never in vain. The magnitude of your reward will be proportional to the intensity of your struggle. This means if your war was brutal, your victory will be glorious. If your journey was long, your victory will be abundant. If your pain was deep, your recovery will be complete. God does not forget. He multiplies. What is coming will not be subtle, but spectacular. It will not be gradual, but accelerated. It will not be explainable. It will be miraculous. Chosen one, listen carefully. The heavens are not only announcing your recognition, they are preparing your unveiling. For what was hidden in the shadows is now being dragged into the light, and what you carried in silence is about to echo across dimensions with a sound that cannot be ignored. A sound that reverberates through generations, through timelines, through the very fabric of existence. For years, your faith burned like a private fire, flickering where no one looked, glowing where no one cared. And yet it did not die. It strengthened, it deepened, it purified you, until now it has become a blazing inferno that no one will be able to turn away from. For the same tables that sat empty before you will overflow. The same doors that mocked you with their silence will burst open at the command of heaven. The same people who dismissed you will be forced to witness your rise, because God is not simply a restorer. He is a multiplier. He does not just return what was stolen. He makes it greater, pressed down, shaken together, and running over into your very lap. Your next season is not one of survival, for survival was only your training ground. It was only the weight room for your spirit. But manifestation is your destiny. And every storm you endured was not to destroy you, but to teach you how to command the winds. Every desert you walked was not to dry you out, but to sharpen your vision so you could recognize the rivers when they spring forth. Every betrayal you suffered was not the end, but a divine setup to elevate you higher. And now divine justice enters like a blazing sword, cutting away the lies, the delays, the manipulations, and turning every injustice into fuel for your exaltation. For your destiny was never denied, only delayed, never rejected, only preserved. And now that season of preservation is over, and the season of unveiling has arrived. Your life itself will become a testimony that God still moves, still overturns, still restores, still blesses in ways that defy logic. And where they doubted, you will demonstrate. Where they mocked, you will manifest. Where they whispered, you will walk in undeniable favor. And your very existence will silence the doubters, not by revenge, but by radiance. Not by force, but by evidence. For you were sustained by a current the world could not see. Upheld by arms no enemy could sever, guided by a compass no storm could confuse. And this is why you never collapsed though you bent. This is why you never broke though you were struck. This is why you stand now at the threshold of something greater than anything you dreamed. For heaven itself has carried you here, and heaven itself will now exalt you. And when this unveiling comes, you must remember it was never your strength alone, but His hand that brought you through. His love that preserved you, His purpose that anointed you. And as you step into this new chapter, your life will not only be restored but redefined. You will no longer be known as the one who suffered in silence, but as the one God raised in glory. And your blessing will not stop with you, but ripple outward, lifting others, healing others, awakening others, because your endurance was never wasted. It was the seed of a harvest so vast, it will shake nations. Chosen one, your endurance was never a private ordeal. It was the seed of a harvest so vast, it will shake nations. For the pain you carried in solitude is about to echo through generations. The battles you fought alone are becoming blueprints for others' liberation. And the victories you are about to step into will not remain confined to your personal life, but will ripple into families, communities, and even cultures. rewriting stories that were long thought sealed. You see, God never trained you in secret just for your own comfort. He allowed your tears to water the soil of something far greater. He permitted your wilderness to stretch you so that when the flood of glory comes, you will not be crushed under its weight. For the anointing on your life is not common. It is disruptive. It is catalytic. It carries within it the power to break chains that have lasted for centuries. And this is why your struggle was so fierce, because the resistance you faced was never about who you were yesterday, but about who you are becoming tomorrow. The enemy knew that if you survived the storm, if you held on to faith when all else failed, you would emerge as a living prophecy, a walking demonstration that light cannot be extinguished, that hope cannot be buried, that destiny cannot be canceled. And now as you rise, you will not rise quietly. For heaven has decreed a public unveiling, a manifestation so radiant that those who once pitied you will be astounded. Those who once mocked you will be silenced. Those who once doubted you will be forced to testify that the hand of God is upon your life. And this testimony will not stop with words. It will manifest in doors opening that no human could shut, in provision arriving from places you never imagined, in relationships being restored, in opportunities multiplying, in justice rolling down like thunder. And through it all, your story will cease to be about survival and instead become about transformation. Because chosen one, you were never called just to endure. You were called to reign, and the time has come for the crown that was forged in fire, polished by tears, and sanctified in silence to finally rest upon your head, marking you not only as one who overcame, but as one appointed to lead, to heal, to awaken, and to ignite flames of hope in a world that thought light was gone forever. And as we close this message, I want to thank you for walking this journey with me. If this word has spoken to your spirit, if it has brought you clarity, peace, or even just a reminder that you are not alone, I invite you to stay connected. Like this message, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe so that you never miss what's to come. And if you feel led in your heart, you can also support this work through a donation. Every gift, no matter the size, helps us keep spreading light and truth to more souls around the world.